daddy is Grace to Bishop, Dr. Frederick Abu Siddiqui Koroma. And this program will be live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on Voice of Hope Radio, FM 93.7, Universal Radio, FM 98.9, and Facebook at Flaming Evangelical Ministries International. And also, you can add your voice during this program by calling on 075 or send a text message through WhatsApp or direct line on 078 861 497 or leave a message on our Facebook page. Stay connected, for you are next in line for an impression. It's a breaking news with an exciting truth.
Ladies and
The
gentlemen,
Flaming Voice of Hope, FM
broadcast
9.
from across the different parts of the world, wherever you are listening to us. This is a weekly broadcast entitled Lifetime Impact. And I'm sure this afternoon that God will give you the prescription of how to make an impact in your generation. Don't die without making an impact. Don't die without being known. Statues are not built for failures. Statues are built for men and women who have made a remarkable impact in life. The Bible says, though your beginning is small, your latter end shall greatly increase. Men today with mega churches, men today who are multimillionaires and billionaires, you name them. Men today that you look at their glory and you admire at them. They came from somewhere. They came from a little beginning. And God has catapulted them to rise to the pinnacle of success. And today they have become very enviable in our society. The Bible says, despise not thy small beginning. So if you are small today, get ready. You are about to be catapulted to a height and to a dimension that others will look at you and say, wow, he is making a mark. So with this open courtesy, I want to welcome you to this voice, Voice of Hope on FM 93.7, Universal Radio by courtesy of Mrs. Paris on FM 98.9, and the Destiny Radio by courtesy of Bishop and Mrs. Laga on FM 94.1. I am Bishop Dr. Frederick Abubakar Siddiqui Sulaiman Koroma. Today I have a very special guest with us, and I believe that many of us will know him because very shortly he will going to introduce himself. As you get ready, we will need your comments, your feedback, your questions and answers. Get ready. You'll get us on the phone. I'll give you the number later. And send your text and maybe your WhatsApp to the various numbers that we'll give to you. And also you can reach us on Facebook and YouTube. God bless you. Okay, sir. Welcome, sir, to this weekly broadcast. We are so privileged to have you. I know you are very busy, very busy man. Just came down from university where you lecture, and you endeavor to give your time up to this very important program. Please, sir, can you tell us your name and about a little bit about your family background, sir?
Good afternoon, listeners and possibly viewers. I am James Mamadou FORNAH SESAY. I am a barrister and solicitor of the High Court of Sierra Leone. I'm also a lecturer on the Faculty of Law, Fobe College, University of Sierra Leone, where I also double as the undergraduate course coordinator. Again, I am the head of chambers and managing partner of the law firm of FORNAH SESAY, Coming Showers and Co. And I'm happy to be here, and I am sure you would have a wonderful time. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much, sir. So with that, we've known exactly who our guest is today. Sir, can you tell us a little bit about your family background?
Yes. My nuclear family, I would say, comprises my very self, my wife, Mrs. Teresa Tena FORNAH SESAY, and my 3 sons, have Samuel, have Joel, and have Nathan. And outside that, of course, I've lost my dad, the late Lahai FORNAH SESAY. My mother is still alive, Haja Fatu Kagbo. And of course, by the names you've heard, you would know that I am coming from a Muslim background. And I have brothers and sisters, and I've lost some, and majority of them are still there, and having a wonderful time as a family.
Wow, that's interesting. Sir, can you please tell us about your parents? What were their occupation?
Oh, thank you very much, Bishop. Like you've heard, my late father, Lahai FORNAH SESAY, was a laborer and a linesman at the then Post and Telecommunications department, and that was changed later to Seattle. And throughout his life, that was the job he did. In addition, just to augment the family, he was also a tailor. He was sewing clothes, dresses for particularly women and boys. And he was managing. He brought me up as a single father, because by the time I came to my senses as a small boy, I did not meet my father and mother together. We are separated. And my mother is still alive. She's Haja Fatu Kagbo. Of course, she's aged now, sick almost every day or every other day. But she is still there. She's a very, very staunch Muslim, and I've done my best to bring her over. For some reason, she said, you know what, just leave me where I am. That's where I want to die. You know, that's it, Bishop.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So I know you started somewhere in life. Can you tell us about the primary school and secondary school you attended?
Yes, I attended the Fataraman Municipal School, just along Ferguson Street, just next to this school they used to call Ferguson Street Municipal School, which was later changed to S.M. Broderick. I think they now both of them now have secondary schools or junior secondary schools in the afternoon. But in our days, these were city council schools and Fitzroy City Council schools. That was the school I attended from class 1 to 7. And from there, I proceeded to the West African Methodist Collegiate School, where I entered, and I think that was in 1979. 1979, I entered Form 1 at Collegiate School, and I was there. I still remember I finished secondary school on the 2nd of June, 1985. That was the last day I wrote my final paper, and we used to take GC O levels at different schools. So I wrote that at the Sierra Leone Grammar School, and that was it. But I must tell you, it wasn't easy going through that line. It wasn't easy at all, because at that time, my father being a single parent, and we were about 4, and 2 sisters, and a brother. The brother is now dead. One of my sisters, the late Reverend Zainab Oseo Bangura, is also dead. Right, and later on, my father got married. I have about 5 other brothers and sisters that came after me, and taking care of them, labor was not easy.
So tell us, how did your dad, with such a large family, what did he do to augment income? I don't know. Yeah.
Bishop, it was very, very difficult, and as a laborer at the Post and Telecommunications then, he was paid what I would call now pittance.
Wow.
And with that pittance, he was managing to educate all of us, my sisters and my late brother. And I was the youngest of the first 4. And even that was really, really, really extremely difficult for him. We had nobody to help, nobody to augment what he was bringing in. So what he was doing, he used to cooperate with other people, and they put together their monies at the end of every month, and that was what they call osusu. And they would, at the end of every month, they would give to one person. But my father used to make sure he would collect his own at the end of August, because school used to close in June or early July, so we used to go on long vacation August and would open first week September. So we would collect at the end of June. When he collected that money, he would take all of us to the bookshop with our book list. He was illiterate. Let me make that clear. He did not even know capital A, small a.
Wow.
Yes, so he managed. He would take all of us, go there, give the book list, they will mark, buy the books. Those that the bookshop, they used to have diocesan bookshop, Fobe College bookshop. Those that the bookshops would not have, he would go with us to Gaizen Street. We'll go and buy along the street, and from there we'll enter Victoria Park. We'll buy the uniforms. And interestingly, Bishop, he made sure that he would buy just one uniform for the entire academic year, because that's what the money was enough for.
One uniform.
Just one. For us, the boys, one pair. Shorts and trousers, one. And one pair of shoes or what would I say, crepe shoes. And if you venture to finish that before the end of the academic year, you would suffer.
Wow.
Yes. So that was how life was.
It was a real challenge.
Definitely, Bishop.
Wow. So where did they come from? Where did your dad come from?
My father came from Makeni, Bombali, and my mother came from Cambia. My father was a Loko, my mother a Limba. And interesting thing, he never took us to his hometown up to his death. But I found a way to go there myself. When I gained maturity somehow, I got somebody to take me there.
Wow.
And I got there, I came back to him and said, I've been to your home. He was shocked. I said, yes. Why he didn't take us there, I don't know. But I went there myself because I wanted to know my father's roots.
Okay. So you were faced with diverse challenges.
Yes.
Wow. That sounds very, very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, well, people today will admire you and they are looking at your glory. Looking at you today, looking at you as an epitome of success. I mean, being a lecturer and a lawyer and also a preacher. So some people would think that you are just too fortunate in life and that you bump into success maybe accidentally. What message will you have for such people who are facing such similar challenges?
Well, I would say to such people, when you face some of these challenges in life, you have to stay focused.
Wow.
And you have to be very determined to succeed in life. You know, coming from a very humble background, I wouldn't say poor background, because even at that time, at that stage, and under that condition, I am sure I was better than some other people.
Definitely.
So even with that humble background and with the sufferings we were undergoing, that's myself and my siblings then, particularly me, I said to myself, I want to succeed in life. But, you know, you always have to have God. Whatever you do in life, make sure you put God first. At that time, in those fermenting years, I was a Muslim. And being a Muslim, I was a very, very staunch Muslim, Bishop.
Wow.
I learned the Arabic. I learned about the Islamic religion. I went to Limba mosques. I had sheikhs who were there to teach me, because I was always anxious to know God. And I'm sure it was because of anxious to know God, that's why God opened up to me. And I would say in my entire family, I was the very first person to ever attain up to Form 5, up to the 5th form, the highest at secondary school days then. And I was the very first to ever write the GCE O-levels exams.
Wow.
Right, the very first. I had nobody to guide me, nobody to lead me. It was difficult, Bishop. I mean, having transportation, even to go to school, was hard. You would see that your father did not have it. Would you say you wouldn't go to school because your father did not give money to you? No. I remember when I was in class 7, in our days, when it was time to enter the secondary school of your choice, you would not do it alone. You go with your parents. I went with my dad to my class 7 teacher. And my father, my elder brother was attending the Prince of Wales at then. And my sisters, one government secondary technical, the other one Roosevelt School, that's now Vine. Okay. My father said, you know what? I want you to go to St. Edward's. If you don't want to go to where your senior brother is Prince of Wales, go to Edward's. But then I had a cousin who was next door, who was attending the West African Methodist Collegiate School. And I used to see him when he put on his ceremonial. I fell in love with the collegiate school tie.
Wow.
Just the color of the tie, that mauve and gold. I said, oh, I love this. I would love to go to this school. As a small boy, I held on to that. My father said, St. Rose, I said, no, collegiate school. We argued in front of the teacher. I wanted to flog me. The teacher said, leave the boy to go to where he wants. If you force him to go elsewhere, he might go there and not succeed and not excel. Reluctantly, my father said, but he made a promise. And in that collegiate school you pick, you go work hard. So tell you against for go Wilkinson Road.
Wow.
Whether it was deliberately or not, or it was because of the situation of the family then, Bishop, I walked to collegiate school.
From where?
From Brookfields, Bastard.
Basti.
Bastard Brookfields. Yes, I was a Bastard when I got to Form 1. And I was there up to Form 4. I walked to and from collegiate school. Bishop,
Every day.
Almost every day.
Wow.
Once in a while, my father, if he had succeeded to make money from his tailoring or from his laborer job, he would say, look at this one, pay, go. And if he gives you transport, he would not give you lunch. So me, I would prefer for him to give me small lunch, and I would walk. Even if he gives me transport, I would walk from Brookfields to collegiate school. In our days, the podas, the public transport used to run from Kisii to Lumley, states.
That's
right? Later on, they started from Upgon to Lumley. So, you would have, so transport was there. And if you are walking along the Congo Cross route, Wilkinson Road, going to school and back, and your colleagues would be in the podas, they will see, they will call you, City Piler, and they will give you provocative names. I didn't want that, so I found bypasses from Brookfields. I would use bypasses until I arrive almost in front of the school.
Wow.
And I would use that same route to get back home, permanently. Whether it was raining, whether it was sunny, permanently. And to help me to find money myself, on weekends, I would join my peer groups. Neighbors would go to the bushes. We used to have what they call boundary. We used to have these bushes where they have now built houses. Go and cut firewood. We'll come and sell. I had my cash box. I would store monies in there. To buy clothes, to attend prize givings and Thanksgivings of other schools. Right? Because when your colleagues go, they'll come, that Thanksgiving, the boy, for now you go. I said, no. Boy, you're not there, you're not social. I didn't want that.
Okay.
So I would go to the bush and find money. So I would go to Congo markets on Sunday when I've got some money, and I'll buy these crippling shorts, crippling trousers, and I'll have one or two, Bishop. I would wear those until they are fed up with me. So that was how life was. It wasn't easy.
That's very interesting. Listeners and viewers, this is Mr. James Momodu FORNAH, barrister solicitor at the High Court of Sierra Leone and a lecturer at the Fulbe College. So you see, I believe his story will inspire most of us. So if you think you are poor, there are people who are poorer than you. So please, I want you to rise up from where you are today. Don't settle for mediocrity. Rise up from where you are today, because you can make a mark. You can be excellent in society if you are determined. Because it was his determination, he was so desperate for success, that has made him who he is today. So please don't give up, because winners don't quit and quitters don't win. There was one incident, Mr. FORNAH, when I think you related this to me, when you were ironing, you are pressing your trousers, and this uncircumcised charcoal came and burnt you.
Yes, Bishop, that was a very interesting one. And before I get to that, like I said, our father used to buy for us one footwear for the whole academic year. And his choice was a footwear that used to have this brown rubber. He used to call it cook rubber. His own belief was, if the shoe or the crepe had that cook rubber, it's very, very strong. It would serve the year, and you even use it for the other year. And at a particular year, he bought that one for me. I think I was in Form 3. Before you know it, 2 months going to 3, the rubber, the sole of the shoes left the top.
Wow.
I didn't have, and my father said, you don't go boiler, you don't go kick a ball. You go walk barefoot. I had to go to the bush to find money, and I bought what they used to call stiletto. And I was wearing stiletto to school, and the regulation, one of the regulations of the school was that nobody should wear stiletto to school. I would be hiding.
Oh my
to even go to class. I'll be hiding, and my friends were provoking, stiletto, Fulama, stiletto. That was the kind of life. And that was one. And to make matters worse, I remember I was in Form 5. My father bought the trousers, long trousers we used to put on, long sleeve shirt, long trousers, and tie. And he bought crippling material, grey crippling material. He said, this one will last for the 1 whole year. When you book you engam. Why don't iron and so no more? And he was the tailor. He sewed it. And one day I was ironing to get ready, one weekend, to get ready to go to school. We used, what was electricity? My father was never under electricity all through my schooling days. It was when I was working, I was the first that connected electricity bulb into.
So what are you using? Pan lamp, shade lamp?
Pan lamp, shade lamp.
Okay.
In the morning, all your nose would be very, very black and dark. Okay. And we had laws 6 o'clock, before 6. My brother and I, we used to clean the shade lamps by turns. But our father would come and look at the shade. If he sees anything there, he would give a slap. So I can clean that thing properly. Clean, you put it down, you make sure even the wick there that we used to light. Make sure it would not give that funny flame. It should be settled. That was how. So I was ironing, and I was ironing this end. The other end of the trousers leant on the goose, the cold goose, and it burnt. That was the flap of the trousers.
Wow.
I was hiding. I couldn't go to school for 2 days. My father, you don't go to school. Why you don't go to school? Blah, blah, blah. I said, me it was his born. Bring him. I said, as Itola looked at it, there was no way he could sort it out. He did not have any money to buy another one. And we were approaching exams, approaching mock finals and whatnot. Father said, you know what I will do for you? Give me the hemming of the trousers, the hem, the end of it. Luckily, he had some additional inside. As he loosed it, and he tore that one, he cut, and he put, so my trousers had 2 flaps at once. 2 flaps. I said, so until I was going to school, I would put my raffia bag in front of me, like this walking. So my friends would say, hey, Bofonabo, I won't say you put you back in front, like say, I said, I forget it, but I just like this style, it's a new style. One day I forgot myself, and they saw the 2 flaps. Our bishop, they provoked me. They laughed at me, and I felt bad. That almost affected me going to school. I almost dropped out, But then I had to manage it. And Bishop, even before that, even when I was in class 7, I still remember, by the time I finished, when the results came out, my uniform I was using was not even fit to put on to go for interviews.
Wow.
I had to use a uniform of a friend in class. One Raymond Yoki is now in Bo. I used, of the same age and was one of my best friends. I used his uniform to attend interview.
Wow.
Mine was not fit. It was faded plus faded. Tattered and torn. So I had to use that one to go for interviews, to go to Form 1. And Form 5 again, so like a coincidence, Form 5 again, that cold goose burnt my trousers, and I had to have double flaps. And Bishop, another thing, when I was in secondary school, after school, I did not even have money to buy soda soap. I did not know what is 72% lux. That was luxury then. So soda soap, to even buy soda soap to wash your white, I did not even have. We couldn't have. So we'd go and wait. We had a place where everybody would come to launder things, like a well. I would wait for others to watch and say, not really soap, but I will left her for me. And I'll use that for water to rinse mine. And before you know it, my white would be cream and would be brown. That's what I was using.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a sad part of its story. But you should know that even Joseph went through some crucibles in life, but he was determined and he was desperate for success. So what was your motivation?
Determination to succeed in life. I wanted to be the person that would take my family out of that poverty state. I was determined. I said, no, this shouldn't go on, and through to it, I remember after school, after the O-level results came out, I had a few subjects. My father said, well, you don't done school. You don't done school. But then I did not have the result to go to 6th form, but then I had 1 or 2 subjects. I said, no, I want to sit back. My father was angry. I don't get money. I know they pay. And I had a stepmother. My stepmother said, you better. You don't reach from 5. Look me picking our abundance, small. They not even begin school it.
Wow.
You better go for and work. I had to cry. That's why my father, because of the job he was doing as a laborer for post and telecommunications, he had to talk to one family. I remember the late Mr. Cretin Randall and his wife at King Tom, missed it. Okay. Spoke to them. He came to me. Father, me go to Barandul. I went there. Come with the result I showed. And Barandul said, oh, this result is King Khan Civil Service. So late Mr. Randall of blessed memory, had to find a way to get me a place in the civil service. That was how I got recruited into the civil service, and I was posted to the Justice Ministry, particularly at the law courts. Mm-hmm. And I went there as a court clerk. I was a small boy when I got there. Bishop, even to have the outfit to go to work then, I didn't have. I remember I had to go, my trousers up there. Luckily, those were the days of Michael Jackson. So my trousers was up there. People were saying, boy, I feel you, Michael Jackson. They didn't know that was all I had then. Okay. Yes, that's how I got to law courts. And Bishop, before you come in, when I got there, I saw. So I used to see my colleagues going to sixth form and all. Bishop, it wasn't easy. I wanted to learn, but there was no way. That's what I said. It's not that my father was punishing me, but that was all he had. That's the best he could do at the time. He did not have, and there was no family member, nobody. So it was difficult. I had to work. When I started working, now my father said, well, you don't begin work. You're not a big man now. It's for the take care of the family. I was taking care of my father, my stepmother, my brothers, my sisters, and myself. Talk less of finding a way to complete your subject and go to university. And I was at the law court. Luckily, I was a court clerk. I was there when the law school was opened in this country. So I was privileged by the special grace of God to see every lawyer that have been trained in Sierra Leone at the Sierra Leone Law School. I saw them as pupil barristers. With all due respect to the Land Chief Justice, he was my friend. I saw Land Chief Justice, saw Yada Williams, I saw Justice Rob, all of them. Because before then, lawyers used to come from England, having been called to the bar, studied at England, called to the bar, they would just come and register here. But when the law school was open and the faucet came out, people started studying law here and going to law school here. So I saw all of them. All of them. I was still a court clerk. Wow. I remember one day the current Chief Justice said to me, he asked me about some things after court. I helped him. He said, but FORNAH, you sabi this too. Why you not go read law? I said to him, me papa po. I said, no, so po family. I come. I said, but you get sense. I said, no, to the sense. I don't get money. Besides, I mean, they feed them. He said, no. Let God make you go learn. That's why he's very happy when God opened up to me and I had the opportunity to read law and I came out as a lawyer. And we are very, very close friends, all of them.
Wow. That sounds really funny, but it's just part of the recipe that God used to bring you where you are today. So you are a staunch Muslim before.
Staunch Muslim. I used to lead people in prayers.
In prayers?
Yes.
And you are fasting.
That's
so
why.
What was one of the drive? What drove you to fast? Because I think your father was somebody who loved for you to become a Muslim.
Yes.
And so during the month of fasting, you will fast before you even started walking.
Yes.
So what?
Bishop, even before when I was going to school, I used to fast. The reason being during the Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, my father being a Muslim, if you do not fast, you will not eat until night. No food until evening when it was time to break fast.
Okay.
So you are forced to fast.
Wow.
So that was the compulsory end. The other end, because of my love for God, I believed I was at the right place and I wanted to know God and I wanted to do the things that God has asked us to. So I followed after my dad and I was fasting. I was very, very, very staunch Muslim, and that helped me when I became a Christian to even partake this what they call Esther fasting. Bishop, I can go for a week or two without food or drink, even water.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So God has already started working in your life before you even became a Christian.
Yes.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the voice of Mr. FORNAH, Reverend FORNAH, who is unfolding to us what the challenges he went through in life. This is just to inspire you that regardless of where you are today, God can transform you to be a blessing. So you see what God did to him? Later on, he was in charge of salvaging his family from that level of poverty. Okay, that's very good, Mr. FORNAH. I'm glad you're here, and you are my special guest for today. Well, how would you define success in accordance to Job 8:7? Though the beginning is small, you understand? How would you define success in that context?
Yes, that's a very, very good scripture, Job 8:7. Though my beginnings are small, but my latter days shall be greater. Yes, I think I am an example of that. It's always difficult for you to have a big beginning and continue being big.
Yes, sir.
God always starts small. That's one thing people should know. There should always be a starting point in life. God starts with you from a particular place, and he takes you from stage to stage to stage. It's sad that some people, in the process when God is taking them from stage to stage, they refuse and they go back. They go to where God has removed them from. And at the end of the day, they will not make it in life. But if you follow God, you go with him from point A to point B to point C to point D, you will definitely get to point Z. And that's what I would say. With me, Bishop, I would say to people, I barely managed to go to FBC to read for a first degree. I barely managed. I did not have any example. Because working at the law courts as a temporary clerical assistant, I made sure I studied, and I wrote what they call the civil service examination. I wrote it with so many other people in the whole of judiciary in my time. Late 80s, I was the only one that passed it.
Wow.
I was the only one. All the others failed. Senior people all failed. I was the only one. And when I passed, I was able to be graded. Went to the Public Service Commission. I became a graded clerk. And when you become a graded clerk, you now have the opportunity, after a few years, to ask for study leave with pay. Okay. That's what I used. When I was graded, I started now working on the second lane, writing the GCE O-levels again. And Bishop, I would come from the law courts. In our days, the law courts used to close at 3:30. That's time, finished. Because law courts, the judiciary was self-accounting. Okay. We close at our own time, start sharp 8. All courts are on. 3, finished. So I finish there, I get home, I just change and wear something else, and I would go to at Eastern Police, Trinity Primary School. That's where the syndicate was. Take some subject there. I would run from there, come to Government Model School.
Wow.
Take other. And then I wrote the GC O-levels again. Eventually, I had my 5 subjects. There's one particular person I would say thank you to. Is this man called Mohammed Ahmed Sano. He works at the ONS. I think he's the chief of staff now. That's a fantastic guy. Bishop, I struggled to even have the O-levels because it's difficult to go to work, you come, you study without very good background. It was difficult. So at some point, I had to get in because I was struggling to get English language. No, I had English. I had a 2, but I didn't have literature. So for literature, I had to take the exams again.
Wow.
And he took me through, and at the end of the day, I got a 1.
Wow.
And I was enrolled, I was admitted to read. I read English and sociology, and I came up with a division 1.
Wow.
But my intention was just to get a degree so that I would be upgraded in the civil service somehow.
Okay.
Right? And I was at Lockhart. I got the study leave. I went, and I came out with a first division in English and sociology. I remember the master and registrar then was retired, Justice of the Supreme Court, Adeline Showers. Okay. She was master and registrar when I left to go and study. And I came, she took my results, I submitted all, and when she wanted to forward my results to the establishment secretary's office so that I would be upgraded, everything got missing. I waited for some months, but by that time, when I was leaving college, a colleague of mine, now a lawyer, Sonia Salome Stanley. He works at the law officers now, Principal State Council, I guess. She said to me, Mr. Fornah, all man, they apply, so they go read law, so they go read African studies, and they go read diploma in education. Which you apply for? I said, I mean, apply for that, me not get money. Me not degree no money. Because no, Mr. Fornah, apply no more. I say, I not get money, not force me. She said, you want to go? I said, if I get her. She said, I pay for you.
Wow.
1 week after, she gave me the money to buy the form. In fact, she bought the form for me. Look the form. Just apply. Apply for law. Me don't apply. I applied. Without having anybody to pay for me. I struggled to even pay fees for the Bachelor of Arts. How come now law? So I applied. By the time we were called for interviews, the results were almost out, and I had a first class. So I applied. Went for the interviews. They said, and they asked me during the interviews, say, I think the first question they asked me, who is going to pay your fees if we accept you? Because my result was good, my O-levels were good, I had a first class, first degree, so they were going to accept me anyway. But they saw poverty written all over me.
Oh.
They said, who is going to pay your fees? And I said, my wife. He said, your wife? I said, yes. Who is she? I said, my wife is a refugee in Norway. She's gone to Norway because of the suffering in the family to go and find ways to help the family. I said, are you sure? I said, yes. I said, no, I don't have any other person. Reluctantly, they accepted me.
Wow.
And when the list of accepted candidates came out, I was accepted, and because of my experience at the law courts over the years and my first degree, I was exempted from the first year law. I was accepted straight to second year. I said, they don't let me. But even that, I had no way. Called my wife. I said, this is it. How? He said, well, you spend some money within they give me as refugee. I go to send her for you.
Wow.
So I went in. And Bishop, even the first money she sent was not enough to pay my fees then. Justice Showers, who was master and register, had to find ways and means to get money to help me. He said, can't pay back. I said, women, wife said, no, I go pay. Can't pay back. And I had to complete the monies, and I paid my first year fees.
Oh, thank God for your wife, Tene, what's her name?
Teresa Tayena FORNAH SESAY.
Teresa Tayena Sisi, and she is currently in Freetown.
Yes, she is in Freetown because when I finished law, I said to her, look, you have to come over. My resistance is low now. I have tried to keep myself. It's difficult. The temptations are getting greater. So decide what you want to do. And she chose her marriage.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is the voice of Mr. Oro FORNAH. Yes. So you see in life, not to alter man the every woman, so the woman the every man.
Yes.
So that's how life is. You know, catching back, I catch you back. So please, married couple, make sure you help one another to attain what you want your spouse to attain in life.
Oh, but Bishop, you see, like you are saying, I was the first to pay for her to go to meeting Magai.
Okay.
When I met her, she only had O-levels, not all the subjects, but she had that should have taken her to the MMC-T then. So I said to her, you go college, let me the drag.
Okay, so she was in.
She went to college before me.
Okay.
She went to college before me. During the 2 years HT secondary program, they were doing an experiment. She entered. And she came out. She started teaching at government model school. She was teaching and selling small things. And she would get monies and be supporting me.
Oh, bless you. Bless. Yes. May God bless her in abundance.
Yes.
Because today we are looking at you now. The height at which God has taken you. And I believe your wife plays a very, very key role in making you who you are today.
Yes.
Okay, with that, let us listen to some comments, being sent via the Facebook. Yes, manager.
We have many messages coming in. We have Grace Bella Camara saying, there's always one person there's always one person that God will use to take us to the next level.
Wow.
May God connect us to our helpers.
May God connect to your helpers. That's right.
We have Beryl Cummins, ESQ, our lawyer, saying, thank you, Mrs. Feriza FORNAH SESAY, for your support. God bless you. We have Lai Ibrahim Jubrema saying, sir, your story is moving. I almost welled up. Thank you, Daddy Bishop, for bringing short caliber of people on this program. I can't thank you enough. We have Frances Calon saying, in every success, there is a story. Yours is really inspiring more grace.
Wow.
We still have Berlin Cummings on saying, my head of chambers is a gentleman, STEM, but yet kind-hearted.
Wow.
A brother who is hardworking and a trailblazer.
Wow, that's interesting.
Your story is touching and a lesson to the young ones to be determined and hardworking. Where you come from does not determine where you are going.
That's right.
God bless you, Mr. FORNAH. We have Isatu Lansana Kama saying, your story should serve as a motivation to us young people. Wow, I'm really impressed. We have Grace Bella Kama saying, I received the blessings of Job. I received the blessings of Job 8 verse 7. We have Nimatu Lahai Barry saying, I am inspired already. There is no success without unpleasantness.
Wow.
We have Henrietta Tawali. Henrietta Tawali saying, wow, this story makes me cry. You went through all this in life. Look at you now. You are a good example.
Wow.
Edison Williams saying, thank you, Grandpa. Let the will of God be done in your life.
That's supposed to be from Dubai. Okay.
We have messages still coming in.
Send your messages, through the Facebook, or you can call us on 075 000937. Call us on 075 000937, or send your WhatsApp message to 078 861 497 078 861 497. Yes, sir.
Henrietta Tawali saying, God bless you. Grace Bella Kama saying, very touching story. To God be the glory. Henrietta Tawali, now I understand you always encourage people that are ready to be educated. Grace Bella Kama saying, Michael Jackson's days. And she's also saying
Hello, listener.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, I am Alafi Taylor calling from Mountain Court.
Yes, speak louder. Yes, calling from Mountain Court.
Yes, I want to say I am fortunate because I was just tuning in and I met this true life story and I had to listen, and I want to count myself very fortunate.
Wow.
What I want to ask, was there any time in all of these challenges that you said to yourself, is it really worth it? Can I really give it up at this point? And if there was that time, what took you through? What kept you strong through those periods?
Wow, that's a question directed to you, Mr. FORNAH.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. A very beautiful question. There were several times that I almost felt like giving up. You know, even during my secondary school days, Form 3 was the only level I had to repeat in my whole life. And the reason being, because of peer group influence, instead of staying in school and studying, I would leave school during lunch break and I would come to Roosevelt School, then now Vine, because that time was the first time I had a girlfriend, and the fence was not good, and the ladies would be in class, the girls would be in class, and they'll be shouting, FORNAH J, FORNAH J. I enjoyed that. So my colleagues would be at school studying and learning, and I would always leave. At the end of the day, I still remember, I got 48.9, and I was asked to repeat. At that same year in my class, there were other people who had 45%, and they promoted them because of their ages. I was a small boy. But then, that time I said to myself, what? How come? But that was the turning point in my whole life. I said, as from now, it would never happen. I pushed everything aside. That's vacation period. I studied and studied and studied. When school reopened and I went back, trust me, the first report card, first, second, first, third, first, it wasn't easy. You can put a ruler and draw a line. And from that point, wow, it was up there. And I also remember when I went to college, initially, before the AFIC boys came, the West Side boys, college was difficult. I went to study English. English was divided into 7 other areas besides your other history and whatnot. You have prose, you have poetry, you have this, you have use of English 1, use of English 2, difficult. And don't want to talk of the books, to buy the books. To give assignment. I came home one day and I was crying. I was literally crying. My father was sitting at the back. He came, why you dey cry? I said, Papa, I said, college arts. Me, if I be no, I know they go. And my father said to me, but you don't pass GCE, you don't get GCE, when are the art one? College not for art. And I looked at my father and said, oh yeah, Papa don't know it's in that education. Then I braced myself up. I said, no, this is at the tower. And then I had to stand up and say, I would make it in life. I will just give you 2. And at times, even the studies, even law. I remember when at law school, it was difficult, extremely difficult, facing the bar finals. At the point I got fed up, I said to myself, I called my wife overseas. I said, hey, me at the left course, I tired, I fed up, I don't want nothing until God make I get first degree, me at the go. My wife had to fly from Norway and she came to Sierra Leone for 5 days just to plead with me, to beg me, to encourage me to continue. And I continued, you know. At the end of the day, I came second. Only one person led me. So you face challenges in life. But if you surmount those challenges and you brace yourself up and you stay focused and determined, trust me, God will definitely help you out. That's it. Thank you very much.
Wow, young man. So I think you got the answer to your question, that you should be focused. Definitely there are tough times. Tough times normally come. You know, I face similar, challenges like what a landed lawyer is saying here today. But I was encouraged, I was inspired, because I know that what others have done, I can still do it. They get 2 years, they get 1 month, they get 2 years. Why make I not succeed? So please tell yourself that I am a success story in the making. Any more?
Yes, we still have messages coming in.
Give a few more for we continue here.
Yeah. God is indeed faithful. From Nematulai Bari, we have Emmanuel Tamba saying,
From Greece.
yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, my father, for inviting a motivational speaker to this program. We have Ibrahim Mansari saying, wow, thank you, sir. Henrietta Trawali saying, indeed, every success has a story. We have Michaela Gooden saying, indeed, God is faithful. More blessings, sir. Christiana Kagbo saying, keep up the good work, sir. And we have Teresa FORNAH SESAY saying, blessings and more grace, sir. And we have...
Oh, is that your... My wife. Oh, that's your wife. She's with you. That's wonderful. That's the greatest compliment that you'll ever have. Yes.
We have Marianne Penny-Timothy.
From Virginia.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sirs. Greetings in the mighty name of Jesus. That's all we have for now.
Okay, thank you very much. Keep your texts, keep your messages coming in. We will try to hear them out, so at least we can know exactly the kind of impact that you're receiving from this program. Okay, we'll continue, Mr. FORNAH. The next question I want to ask you is, of course, you're a preacher man. How will you relate your story with that of David? David, who was the, I think, number 8 in the family, and he went through challenges in life. But David rose up from the backside of the desert as a farmer or a shepherd boy to become a king. So
Yes, thank you very much, Bishop. I see myself as the nowadays David, because how to relate my story to that of David is that David was a shepherd boy. He was not the first, not the second or fifth, even in his family. But because of his heart, God saw his heart, and God said, no, this is the one I am going to choose. And I would want to say to listeners or possibly viewers out there that you must have a clean heart, first of all. Have a clean heart, right? Don't have a heart full of hatred, full of jealousy. Be open-minded in whatever you do, and just rest your all in God. Don't forget God. Some other people will tell you out there, if you use this, if you go this way, you go that way, you're going to make it. Even if you go this way and that way and you make it, it will not be permanent.
Yes, sir.
But if you allow God to take you along his own way or through his path, definitely you would make it in life. Bishop, when I lecture, I used to tell, there's a story I tell my students, that when I was growing up, because of the poverty I was in, I used to say to myself, I don't want to marry any woman that is beautiful. Yes, people say, why? I said, because I am very jealous. I want to have my wife all to myself. But here am I, God caused me to marry a very, very beautiful wife.
Wow.
Right. I don't know how that happened. But again, the reason being because you have to stay focused. You have to know what you want and you go for it. At times, what we feel in our heart is not what God thinks about us. It's not what God wants for us. Right. And I would say, for example, Bishop, I tell people again that I don't know how I managed to become a lawyer. And so I don't know. It was never my desire, never what I wanted. In fact, that is the reason why, as I speak, I am not a judge. Because I have the privilege to work in the court. I saw everything. I knew it all. And I know it all. Right? Practically, I saw how things were operated. I said to myself, even as a court clerk, I would not want to be a lawyer. But God wanted me to be a lawyer.
Wow.
That's why how God brought Sonia in. God took my wife from Sierra Leone to Norway to help support me. And she did everything for me, Bishop. She bought my books, even to photocopy. She gave me money. She bought my clothes. She bought everything. And by the end of my course, she even bought me a car. She made me very comfortable.
Wow.
Right. And,
Bless you, Sonia.
Yes. And when I went through the course, Division 1, went to FBC in our days, Honors 1, they would tell you, the university, the college would just write you. You are advised to drop out of the course. And even when you are, those of us that were promoted, they would say the following people have been allowed to proceed to the next stage of their course. That does not guarantee that you are going to get a degree, because you can even come with an allowed to pass.
Wow.
But nowadays, semester system, they will tell you I have 3 points. Up to date, I don't know my results. I was just allowed to proceed. Some of my colleagues were given ATP, some were asked to drop out of the course. So, but God took me through those difficult periods, right? I said, I just take it no more. Why did they steal my papers that were forwarded by the master and registrar then to establishment? I don't know. Justice Shah sent me to the establishment secretary then, one Mr. Eugene Davis. I don't know if he's still alive. He looked at my results and said, well, your results fine, but you know, reach to we are. Blah, 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 blah. I said, well, no. I just wanted to be promoted so I can take care of my family and myself. Then the man said, go and tell the master and registrar that I have asked that you be placed in the level that you have, that will be commensurate with the education you have attained. I remember Justice Shah saying to me, where can I put you? You know, every office is occupied. You have the paper, yes, but they have the experience. I said, okay, master, I will just sit. Then when the opportunity came for me to go, it was a welcome opportunity for her too. She said, just go. Then they asked me. That's how I went again.
Wow.
First degree I went without a study leave. I went. She said, I am asking you go. May God bless Justice Showers. So she left me and I went. When I went, I struggled through, Bishop, like I said, but thank God for my wife. And our class was a very difficult class. We graduated about 21, if I'm not mistaken, the total. And for now, we have about 7 judges, 2 courts of appeal, 5 high courts, calling my classmates. And we all know ourselves. We have those that went to law office are excelling. They're all principal state counsel. And those practicing privately are excelling. You know, we are very disciplined, we are God-fearing, we are very competitive. We have Adekule King, a silent ambassador to the African Union, based in Ethiopia. We have several others doing very, very, that's the class. When they said test, it was like exams. Exam was worse, it was like killing. You know, I still remember there was a time in my poverty, a criminal law lecturer in LLB2 said, I had lectured, notes were packed. He said, these tests Anybody that will come out as the best, I'm going to give 200,000. And so it was like millions.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
Everybody went into their trenches. Everybody deployed. Everybody was studying like crazy. Me, I would go to the library and I would read. There was a day I went to the library. I said, went to the criminal law section. I saw books. I said, Bishop, by the special grace of God, I got the book the lecturer was using to lecture us. I looked at it. I looked at my notes. The same. I said, okay. What I did, I went to copy it. I photocopied it. First.
In poverty.
Yes, poverty. Photocopy. My lunch, I used my lunch. Then I was so greedy and selfish. I took the book, I did not put the book where I took it from. I took it to engineering. But I did not want any other person to see it. But I wanted that 200,000 views. I went to engineering shelf and I marked with my pen the area so I will not lose sight of it. I marked and I placed it there.
Mm-hmm.
And I crammed even the things the lecturer left out in his notes, I lifted.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I would go every day to check to make sure it was there. After the test, I wrote it out and placed it again on the law. So I made sure I was the only one that had that opportunity. That 200,000, I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
I was broke. Exams, the test came. We wrote the test. And I saw the questions. 5 questions, answer 3. I just took number 1, 2, and 3. I don't even read 4 and 5. They are not important. I knew everything. So I downloaded, bam! At the end of everything, the lecturer stood by the lectern in front. You come, you give your paper, I will look and pack and fold and put. I remember after me was Nancy Sise.
Okay.
Nancy gave her paper after me, and I gave mine. I finished. I dotted my I's and cut my T's. When I gave the lecturer, he looked at the paper before he folded. He said, and I went to take my bag in front of the room. I was going out. Nancy was hiding. I overheard the lecturer say, "Can a man come a textbook?" So I did not turn. I just went out. As an art building. There's a garden in front of art building.
Yes.
I met other colleagues that were giving their scripts. We were there talking. Say, how the paper? Then Nancy came out. Oh, Nancy, don't they talk here? Mr. Bonner don't kill me. The lecturer did and cry. That was not the fun part of it, Bishop. After 2 weeks, the lecturer came to distribute the script. This time we held the class at the Wilson Theatre, close to the amphitheater.
Okay.
Whilst we were there, I was distributing the script. It's competitive class, Bishop. And Adekule King, ambassador now, was next to me. Then he gave Adekule King's paper. Adekule King did not see that book that I saw. I kept it. And I made sure I kept it there.
Yes.
When he gave Adekule, I said, Kule Lasiba. Kule had 19/20. Then I said, Kule, you didn't come on. Then the lecturer said, you bastard.
You must have.
And the lecturer said, when I said, Adekule, you didn't come on. The lecturer said, you bastard. When he gave me my own, eventually, he gave me 19.5. So, that was the fun. We had a fun, we had time, because I was focused, and what I feel most, that my father did not see me as a lawyer. He saw me as a graduate when I had the first degree, and he died the month I started reading law. He did not see me. How I wish he would have seen me, but he did not.
Wow.
And my mother is alive. In fact, she doesn't know what is law. She doesn't know what is education. She's stark illiterate with respect to her, and all she cares about, give me lights, take care of me, and I think I am doing that. But thank God, I've been able now to help people. These stories I tell my students when I lecture them. I tell them every day. Some are fortunate, coming from affluent families. I wasn't fortunate, and from there I had to pursue my studies. I enrolled myself at the De Montfort University, Leicester, UK, right? And I graduated there. I did not rest on my hours. I proceeded, also enrolled at the South Wales University in Wales, UK, and I also came out again with Masters of Law.
Wow.
Degree. That's how it is. And in fact, they've invited me for PhD. But I'm looking whether I have the strength.
You're not going younger.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm well over 50 now. I used to tell my students that my game is now in the second half.
Okay.
So I should not be thinking as if I am in the first half.
Okay. Second half.
Yes, I'm
So,
thinking now.
Where will you place me now? I think I'm on.
You are facing the dynamics of second half.
Second half. Okay, I'll make it of it. I'll ensure that I score a goal.
Exactly.
Yes, before I.
But you know, there's always a give extra time.
Extra time.
Yes, you have injury time, you have extra time.
Okay.
So that extra time, we are all paying for that.
Okay,
That's
all right.
Above 70.
Okay, that's extra time.
Extra time.
At 70.
70 is the 90 minutes of life.
Okay, all right.
3 scores and 10.
That's right. That's good. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. FORNAH. There's a popular adage that says, tough times never last,
Yes.
but tough men do last.
Yes.
Will you subscribe to that?
Yes, definitely. Looking at all I've explained, I haven't explained even all because of time, but what I've said, you will see that I went through tough time. It is not that I'm not going through tough time now. You look at the economy, you will say, who is comfortable? Nobody.
Yes.
But it's far better now than what it used to be then. You know, and when you go through tough time in life, don't see it as a cause. Don't always see it as a problem. See it as a wilderness journey. Everybody is bound to go through a wilderness journey in life. If you don't want to go through it, you would end up possibly in jail, or you end up dying prematurely. You
Yes.
have to go through the wilderness journey.
That's right.
And once you are with God, you would go through it and you would excel. So when you're going through tough times, that's your wilderness journey. It's a period of learning.
Yes.
It's a period of experience. That's where, during my tough time days, those were days I developed soft heart. People would see me, oh, you look difficult, because I'm disciplined. I'm very strict. But if you come close to me, you would not want to go away from me. I'm very encouraging, very caring, very loving. But there's a line you shouldn't cross. That's it. That's how life is. And I'm enjoying it.
Wow. Listeners and viewers, hold on to it tenaciously. That tough times never last. It has come to pass. Remember, David said, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So there are times when God will constrain you to go to the valley of the shadow of death, because God wants to test you, according to the book of Deuteronomy, to see whether or not you are going to keep to his commandments. So tough times are bound to come. It's part of life. Remember the potter with the clay. You know, he spent some time. Clay is very useless, but the potter designed the clay to become very useful. To put a flower as a flower vase. So God might be in the making. So don't give up, because God wants you to be who you are. Okay, Mr. FORNAH, tell us about your encounter with Christ.
My encounter with Christ is very unique. Like I said, I was a very staunch Muslim, very difficult one, very, very difficult. I used to argue with Christians, and my late sister, the late Reverend Zainab Osayo Bangura, she was always a Christian, and I would say she was the first Christian in our family.
Okay.
Because initially my father was a Christian. He used to take us to local Baptist church. I remember I was present when the church was opened. A small boy went. Okay. But my father stopped going to church because along life he became sick. He fell ill, was admitted at Connaught Hospital for about 2 or 3 weeks. When he got discharged, came back home, came home angry, said, I need to go church again. No church person no go fend me.
Oh.
And straight he called a sheikh, and he called this Al-Wala. He started learning Arabic. That was how he stood there. The church people came later to apologize, to plead with him. He said, no, it's a very difficult man, you know. So that's how he said, no, I'm not going again. You did not show me love. So we are Christians, we have to be careful.
Yes.
Right? Particularly for young Christians, they don't look at other things. They look at those funny things.
Yes.
Right? So he from that stage, he brought us all up under the Islamic faith. And I was learning Arabic. I used to go to the Iranian office at at House Street.
House Street,
Yes,
yes,
their
House
office
Street.
there. I would read their books, go sit in their libraries. I would take some of their books home, and I would argue with my sister. My sister used to come with her friends to preach to me, and I would laugh at them. Would argue without a winner. And the Reverend Jibula Bangura now in the United
Yeah,
States.
in Virginia, yeah.
Yes, Reverend Jibula Sapuka Bangura, late Reverend Issa Toure, you have several others who were talking to me. But I think the high point was my meeting with my wife. When I met my wife, I was a Muslim for 2 years when we were friends, because she was a born-again believer when I met her. I don't know how she encouraged me, but she was a born-again believer when I met her, strict born-again. I was a Muslim. For 2 years, I remember coming from Eid al-Fitr prayers at the Sheikh Stephen Stadium or National Stadium, passing along her house and talking to her and getting home. But she was consistent in preaching to me. She would say, me, Namao they go church at the married. Me, I wanted out. You know, that was one. But two, there was a night I slept and I had a direct encounter with the Lord Jesus Christ in himself, right? Saw a man in white, spoke to me. You have to follow me. You have to go to church.
Wow.
Right? In the morning, I just got up. I said to my father, tomorrow Sunday, I will go church. My father said, wait, I said I will go church. And I went to church.
Wow.
Since that day, I haven't turned back. And Bishop, I'm being very honest here. When I look at my life, when I was not a Christian, and I look at my life now that I am a Christian, that's a vast difference. There's a vast difference. I remember one day, just when I accepted Christ, I was in church attending Christ Ambassadors meeting. The sheikhs that were teaching me at Limbamox, when they heard that I started going to church, they were angry. They came to church there. They were outside. They sent to call me. Came. They said to me, Sheikh FORNAH, wallahi, how you manage for good church? Hey! I said, I have explained to them. They tried to convince me, but it was like I was convincing them. Then one of them said, make you not can confuse me. Let me go. That was how they let me go. You know, and that was my encounter. And I've enjoyed every time with Christ. And God has taken me, Bishop, from height to height. In terms of Christianity, I saw the way he took me in the faith from step to step, and I see where he has brought me. Now, today, I can stand and preach his word. I can stand and teach his word. And I'm also a student at the Evangel Bible College.
Wow.
Right? Because you have to sense the call first in your life. It's not about academics. Academics is good to help you bring the word out. But you have to have the call of God. Because when he calls you, he would back you. So when I sensed that the call of God is upon my life, I said, you know what? I have to learn. When I went to Evangel, I told them, me, I'm not coming for people now. I can't for learn no more something. And then you for learn some they call them the techniques of the trade. So that's why I'm here. But first, no, you forget people. I said, no, me not have people. I used to make that phone. But I'm enjoying the difference it has created. My 2-3 months or so at Evangel before the break, I said, wow, it's not easy. I have to go to work.
Yeah.
My house at 7, I go to work. I work at 4, I leave to go to Evangel. Class starts at 5. Yes. So it's difficult, Bishop, but I am enjoying it. And God is taking me from place to place. And in fact, I say to my church, Faith Assembly of God Church, I think God has called me from the place of me coming to church and sitting down and just listening, preaching, and I drop my offering, I give my tithe. God is calling me to preach his word.
Wow.
Right? He's calling me to go out. Just like he said in his word, separate from me Paul and Barnabas for the work which I have set before thee. Right? I think he wants me to go out there and do his word and preach his word. I'm preaching in different churches. I hope Bishop would bring me to Flaming one day.
Oh, definitely.
Because just a few days ago, Chief Apostle Moses K sent me a text. I want to inform you I'm preaching for my men's day in September. I said, wow. Apostle said, no, I can confirm the call of God upon your life. I see what God is doing in your life, and I'm going to bring you up. So I'm very happy. I'm preaching different.
So do you envisage yourself being a pastor one day, a full-time pastor one day?
Yes. I'm just trying to bring my son up. He will be going to law school next academic year. Now doing internship, and I bring him up when he's settled in the job. I would go slow in the job. I have a very great farm. I have Beryl Cummins, Adewale Showers, Ishmael Mami, Ibrahim Idrissa Mansari, and several others. They are very, very good. I would just sit there. And you know what? I have two reverends in my farm. They're all part of the farm. I have Reverend Terence Knox Koba and have, I call her Reverend Wisdom Veronica Conte.
Okay.
They are already, their pupillages under me. And I tell them, you should be praying for the farm now. You know, so I don't know why God is doing that. I think He has a purpose. God does nothing by mistake.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, let's digress a little bit. A few weeks ago, you are the recipient of this award from Strategic Evangelistic Network, the second annual award. And we are very meticulous, about giving out this award to our awardees. How do you see that?
Bishop, that was a high point in my life. You know, when I got the call from Chief Apostle Moses K, he told me that he has been asked to call me and tell me about this award. He asked me, how do I feel? I said, what? Me? He said, Apostle, how come? How did my name come up? He said, I recommended you. I said, wow. But Bishop, you remember I said, I don't know how I came to read law. I did not want to study law, but God brought me in. When he caused me to be accepted, he caused me, instead of 4 years, he caused me to read law for 3 years. And it's for that purpose. Right? To work for the church.
Mm-hmm.
To work for the church. And Bishop, I am working for several churches as a lawyer.
Wow.
Right? And currently, I'm the lead investigator trying to bring the Pentecostal Fellowship of Salem together.
Okay.
Small things. And I said to myself, why me? But God knew this from beginning. He knew it, he saw it, and now he designed me to come. So I'm enjoying it, Bishop. That award is fantastic. It's right in front, right on top of my table in my office, and I am making a boast of it. I feel proud, advocates of the faith. I feel proud. Even in my church, they celebrated me. But outside that, they're celebrating me, and I feel good, and I want to do more.
Wow.
And I hope I will go to the next stage of your awards.
Wow. That's exciting. Imagine with 7 million people in the nation, only about 11 of you, I think, including Dr. Ben and the lady had here the last time, Ophelia Morrison, who is the chairperson of the Conference of Principals.
Yes.
Wow.
And Bishop, I was asked to do the vote of thanks on behalf of all of them. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that time. And I said to myself, I am not going to write anything. I'm going to release from my heart. I enjoyed it. And I have the recording. I would play it and say, wow, it's me.
Did you see it? We sent it to AYV. It was here some 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I was in church. I missed that one because of the time. Yes, I hope they would repeat some other time.
Yes. Okay, we'll try to do that. Yes. All right then. So rounding up, Mr. Manager, get ready. What you've known me for some time now, and you've heard about Fleming. What is your evaluation?
Bishop, I think you're a very good example for people to emulate. I have known you for several years from your church meeting at the Prince of Wales.
Wow, that's
yes, I've known you from all those days. I've been following things, but then for some of those days I was still a Muslim. Yes, and when I became a Christian, and I always see you as one of the fathers of Pentecostalism, and I still believe in that. Together with so many others, Bishop Achibokol and others, see you as a Pentecostal father, and particularly you. And you are such an example. My contacts with some of your sons, Solomon Jamiu, this Tommy, Shilon, Berry, so many of them, and they all say good things about you, and how I wish I was attending Fleming and I was directly under your tutelage. But never mind, you can still have sons outside.
Definitely, many of them.
Well, Bishop, you are fantastic. Keep it up. I just pray you keep strong in the faith. And when you were taking me around before we came,
that's my next question.
The studio. God asked me to ask you a question. I don't know if I can ask the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
God asked me, ask Bishop about his succession plan.
Wow.
Of all the things you showed me, all the things you are doing, all when I was behind the work, I said, ask him. I wanted to ask, but I wanted for time to come up here. And I want to ask, you should start thinking of that.
Definitely,
Start
because
thinking of that.
success without a succession is failure in disguise.
Your ministry should continue in your absence.
Definitely, in my absence, there's not a continuity. Definitely,
Framing should be strong and strong and stronger.
I have men that I've raised up
Yes,
now.
Yes.
Men, very strong men. And my son is doing his master's in Italy. He's coming very shortly. And they're men. They are men and women.
This is a
who are
great work,
outstanding.
and all you're doing all over the world is great.
Mhm.
You have to think.
You know, definitely, I have that in mind. Because
God is concerned about that.
you know, of course,
I've placed it in my heart.
yeah, it is in your heart. Yes, yes, definitely. I know there will come a time if Christ tarries when I will get tired. Definitely, I will get tired, and I'm now.
Yes, you'll be around when you're tired.
I'm now 61.
The body would say,
Definitely.
I don't tire. No, you're by me. But the work has to go on.
The work has to go on.
Yes.
So if a visionary dies with a vision, it's a failure.
Yes.
I always emphasize that.
Yes.
So, Bo Kenema, we have over 110 or 12 churches across the nation.
Wow.
We have churches in Gambia, Liberia, Ghana, Greece, Italy, America, Australia, England. There are churches all over Ivory Coast, Togo, you know, and we have regional superintendents, you know, who superintend these different churches in various parts of the world. So there is, if God should call me home, I know definitely there are people who carry on the work.
Yes.
I know that, definitely. Why? Thank you very much for that very pertinent question. Mr. Manager, before I will ask our guest preacher to give his last word and maybe tell us a little bit about your last sermon, your last word and your last sermon. Can I have some feedback for our viewers? Please call us on 075 000-937 075 000-937 or send your WhatsApp to 078, WhatsApp text to 078 861 497. Yes, Mr. Manager.
And we have Francis Calon saying, in every success, there is a story. Yours is really inspiring me, sir. More grace. Then to Barry saying, my lecturer, you have inspired me so much. And we have Henrietta Tawali saying she's really a good wife. God bless her.
Good.
Aisatullah Sanakama saying, thank you very much, Auntie T. You're an example to us ladies.
Wow.
We appreciate you for believing in our Mr. FORNAH SESAY. Ematu Barry saying, his humility is something I admire so much. You are not just a lecturer, but a father, as well as we all appreciate you so much. Grace Bella Kama is saying, indeed, to every successful man, there is a strong woman. Thank you, Auntie T, for being a supportive partner. And Grace Bella is saying, hard work pays. Aisatulan Sanakama is saying, your story is a lesson to us all. Whatever situation you are facing in life, you must start somewhere. You started as a court clerk, and now you're a prominent figure in the legal field. Grace Bella is saying, amen and amen, my dear Bishop. A success in the making, hallelujah. We have Leah Cynthia Smite saying, God bless you, Cancer. Servant of God, grace increase
Yes,
upon you, sir. We have Berlin Cummings saying, single ladies, that you are looking for already made men as husband. It's wise for you to look for a man with a destiny and a future.
That is word of wisdom.
She's also saying, kudos to you, Auntie T. Matubari is saying, more wins, sir. The sky isn't your limit anymore at all, as man has been able to go beyond the skies. So is everything for you and your family. Marian Penitimity, I'm blessed by your testimony. I pray that the Lord will continue to use you.
Her? Petimity?
Yeah, I know Reverend Pentimity. I know Lansford Pentimity.
That's
I
the
don't know
wife.
Marian.
That should be the wife. And
Oh,
Petimity.
okay, I know the wife.
Yes, yeah.
We need people like you to change the system. Grace Bella Kama is saying, glory. Despise not the small beginning. Thank you, dear Bishop. Henrietta Tawali saying, it only take grace for a man to have fear of God. With all this she did for her husband, if not that Mr. Sise has God fear in heart, she will have still left her and go for another woman. It's a blessing to her as well.
That's definitely.
Henrietta Tawali saying, that's why every man or every woman should always pray for a God-fearing man or a woman. Number 2, Barry saying, now I know why you are always figured out antics in classes. You were once a rascal like us. Grace Bella Kawai saying, thank you, Mr. FORNAH SESAY. May God grant us courage and endurance to go through the wilderness journey. Asatulan Sana Kawai saying, indeed, tough times never last for a hard-working person. We have Leslie Shillon.
Lucille from Bradford, UK. Okay.
I greet thee well, my dear brother, legal-minded FORNAH SESAY. It brings me great joy to listen to your life's testimony. Thank God for your life, my dear friend. God bless you and yours richly in Jesus' mighty name. To my dear Bishop, a big thank you for allowing God to use you to develop this wonderful program. Shalom. And Aisatu Lansanakawa saying, an outstanding barrister and solicitor, a good lecturer and a great preacher. We have Andrina Kama saying, God's hand upon your life is manifesting. We have Robert McIntosh saying, what a great story. God continue to bless you. Grace Bella is also saying, the hand of God shall continue to rest upon you. Our dear Reverend FORNAH SESAY. Samuel Bangoa, wow, very impactful, inspirational. To God be the glory. We have Beryl Cummings saying, the hand of the Lord is upon you.
That's right.
And will continue to impact kingdom. We have Teresa FORNAH SESAY saying, my barrister and reverend, you are a testimony. May the hand of God continue to be vivid upon your life. We have Paul Gibate saying, an impact-filled story. Mr. FORNAH SESAY, you are an inspiration to many. Thanks for the platform, Bishop. That's all we have for today.
Wow. Before I come to the last question, Mr. FORNAH, I will ask you, Mr. Francis, a question I think I asked Bail here, and even Cynthia. People always think of lawyers as being corrupt. We talk about lawyers that they're gonna even know. So what would you say about this?
Thank you very much, Bishop. In fact, that was what people used to believe before now, that lawyers are corrupt. And being a court clerk for so many years and now a lawyer, I think I'm in a position to actually say my mind. The temptation for a lawyer, for lawyers to be corrupt, the temptation is there. It's there staring at you in the face. But I used to tell people, in any vocation or in any profession, any job you find yourself, the temptation to be corrupt is still there.
That's nice.
It is you, the individual, having the fear of God. I always say to people, one of the reasons I am broke, and I say I'm broke, if you broke, how we go there? But I know in my heart that I am broke. If you go to my account, you'll see nothing there. One of the reasons I am broke is because I don't want to be like some of my colleagues.
Wow.
Some of the lawyers would do anything to make money. Want to drive big cars, want to build big houses. Where would you take them at the end of the day? Where would you take them to at the end of the day?
That is it.
Right. For me, there are things I would not do. Bishop, I'll give you an example. I'm dealing with a matter now, a family matter, right? The estate is in Freetown, several houses, big, massive houses, and they've been fighting for so many years. Like they've been dying, the mothers have been dying, and now the children are fighting now as to who should be in control, who should get that. Now, by the grace of God, I have been brought into the matter. I've looked at the papers. I said, there is no way you can handle this except you settle. You have to settle as a family, or else outsiders are going to eat the benefits of your family. I can tell you now, I'm going to file this paper, I'm going to file that, pay me this, being 10 million, being 15, you pay me 120, you will pay me. That is my job. But my conscience. Because God has brought me into this job for a purpose. One of which is this. Look at certain issues and tell them, no, let's settle. And if we settle, I am going to be the loser. You wouldn't pay me what you should have paid if we have gone through the whole thing in court. So, but pay me. And by the grace of God, the family members all over the world, we arranged the conference call, we're on Zoom, and there and then they all, this one was crying, this one was crying, this one was repenting, this one was apologizing. They are now walking towards a settlement.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's up to them to give. So, but other colleagues, Bishop, I will tell you, all they care about is money. That because we have closed, your name is written there, this and that and that and that. No, me, I will not do it. Because I say, even when I talk to clients, I have the consciousness in me that one day that recording would be played in heaven or in the world beyond to see. God would say, I sent this person to you. Why did you not advise properly?
Wow. Wow.
I will tell you, Bishop, when I just became a lawyer, I used to enjoy it. It's an enviable profession. I would enjoy it. I mean, bluff and this and that and that. Clients would come to me. I would see them when I want to. They would sit for hours, come with their property issues, land issues, and I would just bluff and bluff and bluff, and I make money. When I started building my house, one day, my younger brother was superintending the workmen, called me, brother, so when you don't care, you say, I get half parts of the land where you build. You don't count, but what police they say for can broke the place. Bishop, the way I felt that day. I felt, sir, what? Me? I took my car. I drove from Brookfields, all the railway line where the chambers was, to Regents where the building is. I don't know how I got there. I hit a dog died on the spot. I don't fed. Crazy Jack, this. Then I got there. He said, then just they go. None of it, I said, no, they use the other way. Then I sat down. I was driving the car, and when I parked the car and I came out, I was breathing heavily. When I was breathing, because of my mind, my temper, God said to me, how do you feel? When I was breathing. And I said, me, I don't feel fine. I don't feel fine at all. God said, good. That's the same way some of the people I sent to you, that's the same way they used to feel. You are a lawyer, you can fight your case. See how you are feeling, see how you are breathing. They do not have lawyers. I sent them to you, my son. And you go, you keep them there. At times you turn them, you go, you adjourn. Why did you do that? Bishop, from that day, my whole pattern changed. I changed my life. And I tell people, when you come with the issue, I have been there before. I know how you're feeling.
Wow.
I know exactly what you're doing.
Wow.
And you don't just rush for the money. I said, no, keep the money first. Let's do this, this, and this. And I was telling you, say you're wrong. You're wrong. I said, any lawyer, master lawyer, or over, will tell you, say you get right. You not help you, now money you want. If you don't believe, go other side. You're wrong. Let's find a way to settle. Let me do this right without prejudice later. Let's see how the other side would come in, and we'll talk God word. So that's it, and I enjoy it, Bishop. Some lawyers are corrupt. They are still corrupt. They are still corrupt. They enjoy selling people's houses. You don't blame them. People should not encourage family feuds. When you encourage that, it's the lawyers that will benefit, right? Because when they sell their houses, 10% is going to the lawyers besides the legal fees.
Wow.
Going cost free, eating that free, not part of your family. Why are you fighting? So for me, I enjoy that free corruption. I don't say I don't make mistakes, not because I'm on air. I do make mistakes. Because I am human.
Yeah.
But deliberate mistakes, I do my best to avoid them. And I joke, I tell people, you will meet me in heaven, because the Bible says there are books. God is not going to hold all of the books. He would need me to help him carry one of the books. And I'll carry the book. That's the main book. He said they would laugh. We try very hard. But every profession has corrupt people. Talk about accounting. All these things you are seeing, all these pay sheet and all, they are done by accountants. So wherever.
Yeah, yeah.
But just make sure you fear God.
That's right.
Love God and fear God and do what is right. Even in lecturing, there's still people are corrupt. They leak questions to students, right? They show partiality, help others who give them things. You don't do that. You should know that you are accountable to God someday. Be careful. If you want to help all of them. If not, maintain the rules.
Praise God. That I don't know how to term that. You know, listeners and viewers, may God help us to raise in this nation politicians, parliamentarians, accountants, pastors, bishops, permanent secretaries, civil servants, who are zero tolerance to corruption. If we do that, definitely our nation will become a replica of other developed nations in the world. Yes. That's what our prayer should be. Yes. God, give us people who are not corrupt, even within the church. There are bishops and pastors. I read an account of, yes, they sent me an account of this morning, a bishop and his son, who is an apostle. In June, they caught them, they killed a lady as sacrifice. Can you imagine that? Just because they want power, they want wealth, they want popularity, you name them. So why should you take the shortcut? That is dangerous. It's dangerous. Those that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. So, Mr. FORNAH, what will be your last word, Mr. FORNAH Sesay, to all these moments?
Well, my last word to listeners and viewers out there on social media is for you to always put God first. When you put God first, you see, the Bible says, when you make God's work your delight, He would make your wants His care. That has been my mantra. I always make the work of God first in my life. When I was getting my first degree, I was still an elder at Faith Assembly. I would be in board meetings till 10, 11, and I would trek from Faith Assembly to Frobe College and have test in the morning.
Wow.
And God saw me through. Throughout, I was still serving in the church. And to date, I'm still serving in the church at the lowest levels of departments. And it is God who does the increase. If man promotes your life, he will bring you down again. Even if it's not the same person, some other man will do it. Man is man. But when God promotes you, He will maintain you up there, and He will even take you higher. So whatever you do, put God first, and don't look at your situation today and say all is lost. No, that is just a beginning. Right? That is just a beginning. You haven't seen tomorrow yet. You don't know what tomorrow holds. Just keep going. Even me, I am sure God has only just started. I have the confidence in me. I have the witness in my spirit. And even people are saying, oh, God wants to take you to a place. I know. But I will not just sit and fold my hands. I keep walking. He will take me to places. I trust in Him and I depend on Him. Thank you very much. I wish you well. Right. I am James Mamodu, FORNAH Sesay. God bless you.
Yes. Having listened to your program, this is Commissioner Thompson is saying quite a great testimony. I'm touched by his journey. That is Commissioner Thompson. With this, we'll bring the content down. I hope you've been blessed. Thanks once again to Universal Radio 98.9, Mr. and Mrs. Space, to Radio Destiny 94.1, Bishop, Dr. and Lady Oyalinka Phillips, and to the media team of Fleming, Voice of Hope on 90 FM 93.7. I am your host, Bishop Dr. Frederick Abubakar Sidiki Suleiman. And remember, it is not over until it is over. Don't throw the towel. You may be the next in line for an impact. Well, until we meet next week, because we'll come on live on 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month. The others will bring up repeated program. So God bless you. Goodbye. Have a blessed and wonderful week. Amen.
by calling on 075 000 937 075 000 937 or send a text message through WhatsApp or direct line on 078 861 497 0